Good evening, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on the time that you are watching this video. It's me again taking you through the notes that I've given you on the LMS, and let's get into it. So coming with now the introduction is that World Wide Web, which is basically known as the internet, it's being used by many people all over and it's being used by educators and students and learners so that they can access the information, so that they can read, so that they can create, and they connect with one another. Okay, so the web had now evolved considerably over the time, and it contemporary uses almost unrecognizable from its inception. Okay, so yeah, that is the internet. Like what is happening now, you are able to view this video over the web. Okay, you are using a website, you are using a web, which is, the LMS or the YouTube, to watch this video, and you are using a web, you go on the certain on IOM website to access your LMS, and the LMS is in the form of the website. In the web, you access your materials, your school materials, you access your assignment. It's basically through the web. Okay, so World Wide Web, what does it mean? So this is just a system or information system known as a web on the internet, which allows documents to be, connected to one another by hypertext links, enable the user to search for information by moving from one document to another document. So basically, when you have a document, how we create websites, I'm talking now from the expertise of being a website developer or being a website lecturer. When we are teaching students how to create websites, it's just basically a document that you are creating, just like how you are writing a Word document. It's basically the same, and then you just put in some text, you put in some images, you put in some columns, and then you just send it to the server and you host it on the internet. That is basically what the web is. Okay, so now we are going to look into the evolution of the web, Web 1.0. When did it start? Okay, so Web 1.0, this is a static website. Static means you can't really do anything apart from just sending the information out there and people just to read. It's like having a magazine or having a newspaper, because you just read. You don't add information there. You as a person who is reading or as a user, you just get the information. Okay, so that was basically that was Web 1. So it was more of information based. So Web 1 in education refers to the initial adaptation of the internet technology for educational purposes. This was the beginning of it. During this phase, educational institutions primarily use the web as the platform providing static information to students and faculties. So like how I explained, it's just to give information that doesn't move. You cannot add anything. You only get. It's like having a textbook. It's like having a newspaper page that you're just going through. This include posting courses, materials, syllabus, and announcements, in interactive and collaborations were limited, meaning you are not really going to say, like how I have given you, for example, home assignments, and we have some forums there. We can have, chat rooms where we can interact at that moment. It wasn't like now where, like the last time we had an online class, a live class, those things were not really there. Okay, so it was more of just giving you the information and you read. And the website or the web developer is the one who usually used to add those information on the website. Okay, and then Web 2.0 now, it was more of a social web. And what does a social web means? Meaning that now it becomes more of social interactions. So it's more of an interaction website where now if you post something, so there is a webmaster who is going to develop the website. Then once it's developed, so now users can actually interact on that web. So a person can post a question and immediately the person can respond. It doesn't really need to be immediately, but at least there will be a two-way communication. It's no longer a one-way communication. You just receive what I'm putting, but now it's off. You read, you can also interact back with this web. So Web 2.0 in education represents now a shift towards more interactive collaborations, online learning environment. Unlike the static one, so now in Web 2.0, technologies enable users to actively participate, create, and share the content. So it's no longer the website that is just there for you to receive. It's now a website that is there for you as a developer. I mean, as a teacher, as a student, you are able to participate, to take part, to have a conversation, to have an interaction with somebody else on the other side of the website, if I have to put it in that way. So in education, this manifests through platforms such as wikis. Now, currently we have wiki. We know we have a lot of Wikipedias, blogs, social medias, collaborative online tools like the ones that we have, communicated with. And then, students can engage in discussion, sharing, forums, and then so forth. So now we have a lot of things that we can actually allow us to interact. Okay. And this is the time when the Facebook, the Twitters, they were starting those days. Okay. And then teachers can leverage these tools to facilitate more dynamic and personalized learning experience. It started during this Web 2.0. So education empowers both students. So Web 2.0 empower both students and both learners then to actively contribute to the learning process and leveraging the collective intelligence of online communication to enhance the learning outcome. So in meaning that now you are not just going to receive, you are able to contribute, you are able to add, you are able to, to have a conversation like what you are currently doing now. Okay. And then now comes to Web 3.0 as well. This one is somatic. This is more now of intelligence comes in when you hear artificial intelligence. So this is the part of the artificial intelligence that is basically coming in. So the Web 2.0, it's no longer, Web 2.0 was more of being fed by two human beings, the ones that is receiving, or the teacher and the learner, the ones that is receiving information and then they respond back. And then, the exchange, it's basically between a teacher and the learner. That was more of Web 2.0. But currently now in Web 3.0, it's more of a person, it's more of a human being, it's more of a machine and other technologies that are involved in creating the content. Now in this web, so machines are now feeding on the information that users are providing, meaning the teacher can be typing in some information and then the web or the machine itself, it's analyzing this information so that it can also analyze, it can also create patterns, it can also now brings us this machine learning that you are talking about, so that it can brings out to personalize learning. It's because the web now, it is also involved. It's no longer the information that is just coming from the teacher or the information that is just coming from the learner. Now the machine and the web are involved as well. As you are communicating, the web is there analyzing your information, and it brings out only the information that is basically needed to you. So it personalizes the information for you. If, for example, let's say if you go on YouTube, this is just an example that I gave you, and then you only watch videos that are on let's say you are a mathematic teacher and you only watch really videos that are more on mathematics and science. The next time that you're going back on your YouTube, you know what YouTube will do? Will analyze for you. We use this intelligence, artificial intelligence and machine learning to bring out only the content that is suitable for you because of what your preference. So that is what machine learning do and this artificial intelligence do. So in Web 3.0 education, it's AI empowered, meaning it has been empowered by artificial intelligence systems that can analyze vast amount of data to understand individual learning styles, preference, area of improvement and ability, and personalized learning path for each student. So depending on how you learn, if you are a video person, if you are not really a reading person, maybe you are more of a practical person, maybe you are more of an overnight person, you are not a morning person, maybe you are more of you know, you are not good at, words, you are good at mathematics. So all those things, your machine and your web are taking note of that so that they can only bring you what is good for you and what you are capable of learning and how of learning. So that is more of, you know, so, semantic web technologies. So yeah, it's better in that way. And that's why now we have virtual and augmentative reality technologies that now you have now we now have this simulations, enhanced simulations where you will feel like you are in the classroom because of this virtual and augmented technologies or realities where you put on the goggles and you really feel like, okay, I am now in the lab. I am now in the classroom. I am now mixing some a miracle, how do you call them, miracles, so that you can come up with you know some certain lab. If you are in biology, then when you're learning about respiratory systems, is like now you can really see how the heart and the lungs are really working. You are in that environment if it's as if it's real, and this is because the web now have changed to semantic. Okay, and this is when now we have a lot of mobile learning, coming into place, adaptive learning coming into this web. And then now we have Web 4.0. This is kind of a new thing where now we have Internet of Things. Now in this web, things are connected to things. It's, objects are connected to objects and people are connected to objects. This is now where you have, a projector that you can speak to and you can actually tell it to turn it on, off, go on the internet. Now, this is when now you have a smart a smart board that you are able to talk to, that you're able to tell it, you know what, I want you to create for me a diagram with 2, 3 faces. Now objects are being, communicating with people. Okay, so that is where now the Internet of Things are in Web 4.0. Okay, so it focuses on using wireless communication to enable connectivity between people and between objects and in physical and in virtual world. So now you have these things are just connected. Okay. So in Web 2.0, of course, now the human and the machine are characterized by, intelligence of semantic and personalization. So Web 2 is established a dynamic, personalized, and immense training ecosystem. So now it's you can even feel like you are touching, the moon. You feel like you are at the moon. You feel like things are now in reality. The machines are knowing you better because now things are just connected. The internet is no longer for web, but the internet now is for object as well. Your door, your duster, the cleaning duster, your board, your chalkboard, the markers now. Um, it's just my own imagination, but basically that is where the web 4.0 is. It's that is all about Internet of Things. Okay. And then now we have, this is just also something that is being visioned of, okay, which is basically a cybotic web, which is Web 5.0. And it's called telephonic web or cybotic web. And it's called telephonic because it's a chip in user's brain. This is where the things are getting a bit scary, where you are being, controlled by a chip in your brain. You don't need in this web, it's like you don't even need to go to school anymore because the information can actually be inserted in your brain. You don't need to learn the cognitivity of learning, all this constructivism and the behaviorisms are now being, controlled by a chip that can go into somebody's brain, and you become basically a computer. You can be controlled over. You can, if students are writing a test, I'm just trying to imagine this. If students are writing a test, you just, since they have already chips into their head, you just type on the computer and then the test will appear into their head. Depending on how they are thinking, you are capable to say, oh no, this one will pass, this one will fail. So there's no longer a thing of writing or going on the internet and start writing a quiz. Now your brain can easily be accessed. This technology, oh my God. But yeah, that is where it is going. That's where it's going. That's where it is going. That's where we are heading to. Okay, you have now signals that are being sent to a user, or you know, but it's something that gets me scared sometimes to think of it, but that is where we are going. Yeah. And I don't want you now to think of how do you call it in the Bible? There's a trouble six, something like that, where it becomes now satanic. People now bring it into something that is kind of satanic, but with the technology, that is where we are going to. That's where we are going to. People are coming up with a lot of things. So let's just watch out, because it's not yet a Web 2.5. Well, I mean, Web 5.0 is not yet there, but it's being envisioned. Yeah, it's being envisioned. So now it also integrates then, the virtual reality technologies to create immersive learning environments that, transcend the boundaries of traditional classrooms. Students can now explore visualization, simulation, 3D models. All these things are currently happening in our Web 3.0, but they will be more intense when it comes to Web 5.0. Okay, so like I said, now they can be in our blood system, in our brain. So we will be the ones like this. So let's just watch out. Then we come now for information as access, accessing the information on the web. So depending on how you're using the web, that is how you access the information. Information access in the education or on the web refers to ability of students, educators, and researchers to obtain and utilize resources, materials, data that is necessary for learning, teaching, and academic pursuit. So information access, that is what you do. You go on the web, you are looking for materials, you are looking for, data, you are looking for information that is necessary for your learning. You cannot just access anything that isn't necessary for you. Okay, it has to be necessary for your learning. Okay, so information can be then accessed by the following resources on the online. So we have library resources. It can be physical, it can be digital. They are all there, where you'll find a range of journals, books, articles, things like, Google Scholar. They are the ones that really pulls out all this information for you. Things like Elicity is one of those tools that you use to access the information that you are looking for. So it enables you to search and retrieve information that you are looking for remotely on the internet. Okay, and then we have now the online database. Okay, so these are the online database that they are actually found, like these ones, they are found on IUM website. So this is where you can go to and find the databases. So it's like a database, but it's like a group of journals in one discipline. So in one field of study, for example. So you find them that are free, that are not free, that you subscribe to, but that is where you can actually get your information or your resources. And then now we have some of them that are open access resources. Those are free ones, and you can actually reuse them, and you can, you know, uh, use them for free, and you do all sorts of things. You can modify them, you can reuse them, you can do all those other things. When it comes to open access resources, they are basically free access scholar content, textbooks, research findings, and educational materials. So the examples of this, you can actually go there. I myself, like, one of my articles has been published in open access journals. I have one that has been published there, and they are also easy to publish because then they don't really charge you much, or some of them, they are basically free for you to publish into, or for you to get access, or for you to get the information from them. And then now we have basically the internet resources themselves. Okay, so things like YouTube, Facebook, Udemy, things like, those tutorials that you just find on the websites, the blog, the forums. So that is also where you can find your information when it comes to information access on the internet. So it's just a variety of them. You just need to see where will you go, which one will you use, which one is good for you. Okay, which one is more understanding for you. Okay, so, and then we also now have digital learning platforms such as LMS, the one that you are currently using. We have different of them because that's where you get the material, that's where you get your assignments. And the last thing that we did was more of a discussion forum so that you can read from others and learn from them. So that is basically how you can access your information. So before we go now to taxonomy and floxonomy, I want you to understand what you have discussed previously. That so we only have webs, and on those webs you need to know how can you access the information, from where can you access your information. You have different platforms of where to access the information. So now we'll talk about the taxonomy and floxonomy in the next video, because I don't want you to watch so many content in one video. Okay, so see you soon. I'll be going through to the next video.